everybody. Clearing. Okay, let's get into this. So the first thing we're going to do today is a 5D connection. Where are the twins at in the energetic processing? So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through for the amazing, wonderful, awesome Twin Flame Collective that I get to read for every day here. What is it that we can see for divine masculines and feminines on the energetic level? How is everybody doing? Okay, for the divine masculines, we get elemental magic, self-love, and protection. The connection space right now, we have enthusiasm, learning, generosity, and fortune. For the feminines, we get chamber of regeneration, creation, multiplication, and growth. And where we're going in the near future, spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. That's a 77. Okay. I'm going to pull a little bit of clarification here to bring it into context. So Seal of Venus for the divine masculines, elemental magic, self-love, protection. So, you know, at every stage of conscious development, there are fail-safes, energetic fail-safes built in. This card talks about being in a little bit of a bubble of protection with guides and the entourage behind the veil, while there's a new level of learning brought in. Look at that beautiful pattern. Looks a little bit like a gem. And so there is a pause for the masculines at this time to reflect, to come into more self-contained care. There's a bit of a need for protection. So divine masculines, as you're leaving certain situations, paradigms, thoughts, groups of people, structures, confines of society, you're going to be brought into a little bit of a, I'm just seeing this soft violet meditation glow wherever you go. It's like a cloaking around you so that you can remain in your pure energy while you look at the elemental aspects of life, reality. There's a deep inner meditation happening here. And you're not going to worry that you're going to encounter too many things right now because you are protected. It's divinely guided, this transition, this period of time for you. So let's see what we get. King of Cups. Yeah, you're being protected because your emotions are running over right now. There's something, you're a little bit maxed out with certain situations, karmic situations, seeing through the levels of things. Your emotions are near the surface, I just heard. Yeah. And we've got this new beginning, surrendering to the new beginning, putting the work in, and the destined path. There's a lot of change about to unfold in your life. You're doing the inner work, but your work is about to take off in a new direction. You're letting go of certain things, a brand new start in the matters of employment, or if you're an entrepreneur, divine masculine, something is about to shift and your destined path is becoming more clear. This is your feminine here, you know, taking care of their own, looks like she's in a hot springs, taking care of her own energy, with enough to share, enough to offer out into the world. And that example has been very beautiful. But don't fear that you're too far out of alignment, because it's all here. Just the emotions are coming in full force at the recognition of a few things, but you're protected in that. So don't fear that you're going to be too vulnerable or exposed. The divine is putting certain things in place to protect you right now, I'm hearing. Beautiful message. Okay, so feminines, let's get into this. Creation, multiplication, and growth. So we just saw you, divine feminine, this eventual destiny with the proper flow of love and life through your active being right now. Active being, active channeling, divine things are growing through you out into the world. So let's get more clarification for that for the feminines. Oh, way over on the floor. We are getting communication that landed over here for the masculines, and the wounded warrior, the guarded energy. So you're kind of a little bit thinking about communication again for your masculine, and that actually, from what I'm seeing with this opening of the emotional pent-up emotions for the masculines, you might be feeling a pull to communicate. You might be feeling something regarding dropping the guard, or that things are not free-flowing like they could be. So there's either an easing up or a really clear recognition, divine feminines, that communication and timing is either coming out of not being good between the two of you, or it's kind of impressing upon you that it's not time to do that. There is all of this work in your own right to be bringing into the world. It's like you are being pulled away to focus on your mission at this time. The connection between the two is enthusiasm, learning, generosity, and fortune. And so both of the twins energetically are really looking at what really matters and coming into an energy of beginner's eyes, generosity, and enthusiasm. That's so incredible because those energies are in these cards for the masculines. I love it. So it's like a becoming a little bit of a hermit energy for the masculines, so that they can bring more of their fullness to the world. And divine feminines, it's a letting go, so that you can allow more of the receptivity to come in. Both twins are going towards spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. So there's an overcoming. I'm seeing the masculines individuating and really going into that Holy of Holies, inner world, to replot their course, I just heard. And divine feminines, you're putting everything that is not primary to your own direction right now in a backseat, in a way that doesn't feel bad to you, is what I'm getting. You're learning how that does not abandon other things. It does not reject. It is just priority shift, paradigm shift about selfishness or self-care, self-love. Okay, so there is this overcoming, this virtue and victory, valor in these motions for the twins. What can we see further for the feminines regarding spiritual strength, virtue, and valor? Yeah, keep letting go of the past, the things that have not been for you, whether they haven't been for you at that time or altogether. Feminines, you are still letting go, letting go, letting go. What are the masculines going through right now? The knowing, the being still, non-action, being, knowing, being still and knowing, just being. Divine masculines, when was the last time you just were and just in that being? This is a state, no matter how busy you are, you can evoke that high priestess intuition, that union within that just is still and knows within the storm, within the cyclone. There is always that eye of the storm, and that is where you are dropping into now through mercy, humility, compassion, non-action in certain ways, ego tempering, I'm hearing. And feminines, you're letting go. And I am seeing reunion energies in the reverse on the bottom of the deck, but nonetheless, they are there. Okay, let's get into a divine masculine reading today. So thank you, Divine Creator, for showing us what are the divine masculines thinking about the connection, feeling on the heart space. What are they wishing for the connection? What actions are being taken that will go towards union, either directly or inadvertently? What is the biggest challenge for the masculines at this time? What is the spirit-guided solution for that challenge? And where is the energy going? 1, 2, 3. Okay. On the conscious mind for the masculines, happiness, choosing happiness. Yeah, so 7 of Cups is, it should be like that. 7 of Cups is all of the different options. There's the Holy Grail. That is the Divine Feminine under that shroud. There is this other very obvious choice with the jewels. In many decks, the masculine is taking the jewels and leaving the feminine. In this deck, it's not so cut and dry. They're not so of the world, I'm hearing. The feminine stands a chance in this new energy because true happiness is in question. So divine masculines are looking at another layer deeper as to what would bring true happiness in their lives. Even though they know that the feminine makes them happy in some ways, evokes happiness in them, they have chosen other things. And it has felt to the feminines in the past that the masculines have chosen other things over them, or been taken for granted, knowing that the feminine will wait, will be there, trusting the journey in some regards. But the masculines are not so apt to just grab the gems and run now. What are the masculines feeling on the heart space? Wanting to end the burden in the 3D. This is a grounding into the 3D, I'm hearing. 10 of Wands in the reverse. This is, 10 of Wands is the burden. Wanting to put down all the karmic contracts, the things that have distracted from being able to come forward, to spend time with the divine feminine, to team up with the divine feminine, to even communicate in the physical. There has been all this karmic soul level burden, distraction, heavy weight in their lives, keeping them from really being present in the physical. There's been a third energy that has been associated with duty and burden and strife and distraction. So they are really feeling that on the heart space, that they really want to. What I just heard was they didn't realize that the feminine, coming towards the feminine, was always meant to show them the way and to illuminate exactly what needed to be cleared. They used to think that the feminine was a distraction, and now they're seeing that the feminine is the gift, the light at the end of the tunnel that shows exactly what isn't a fit in their lives. We see that weighing of the odds between the material realm and the feminine here, and what is true happiness. And now we see the flip of priorities again here. I think we got that energy yesterday, or the last time the masculine read came through, that there was a switching of the guards, priorities. What are the masculines wishing for? Communication about the inner work that they've been doing. So they want to give you an update. They want to come forward and tell you that some things are making sense to them that didn't make sense before, that they have grown, that they are at a new place. They see things in a different way now. Things are making sense that didn't make sense before, and they kind of want to talk to you. The 8 of Coins often highlights the 3 of Coins. And so on the heart space, they do have this teamwork in the physical. And so part of the picture now, they know, is to celebrate the accomplishments of deeper meaning, deeper growth with someone that would understand. And that's you, divine feminine. What actions are the masculines taking at this time? They're trying not to overly tax their intuition. They're actually kind of not wanting to envision anything in the future. In the past, they've been naysayers themselves. They have been pessimists. They've told themselves why these connections haven't looked successful or couldn't work. They've had excuses. They've had reasons to keep their priorities elsewhere. They're halting that, is what I see here. They are actively stopping their intuition from coming in. So I just want to say, masculines, I'm feeling that you've been getting your intuitive guidance wrong. Your ego has been whispering sweet nothings, like hollow statements, not loving sweet nothings, but nothing statements, trying to keep you from changing. And you've been thinking that was your intuition. How interesting, because when we don't have that high priestess integration where we're trusting the voice of the divine, sometimes our gut instinct, our intuition, our fear, our ego, the imprinting can masquerade as, I just heard it called the voice of reason. The voice of reason can sometimes masquerade as divine guidance when it's our ego coming in to try and keep us in the status quo. So divine masculines are trying to silence that. They are rejecting that small voice that kept leading them in different directions from the feminine, that kept saying that the feminine was a threat to what they had in mind, what track they were on, that the feminine was other. Really interesting. So they're trying not to manifest or look at their life and their path that way. It's what I'm seeing. What is the biggest challenge? Making the changes with all of the real world commitments and associations to come forward in reunion. This is also the Six of Cups, is inner child healing. In the reverse, they are actively healing their inner child wounds by standing up for their inner child with all the people, places, things that resonate from the wounding and not from the healing. That's the challenge, really seeing the difference, that voice of reason versus intuition. I'm seeing the angel and the devil on their shoulders and really picking their battles, looking at which voice is valid. What is the spirit-guided solution? To look at this whole theme of loss of freedom and not wishing for commitment. This is like a, what is it, a double negative when it means a positive. It's almost like a Freudian slip when double negatives come out, isn't it? But I'm seeing that here, not wishing for, and this is not commitment. So it's like double negative, but I think the message here is that divine masculines, oh my gosh, this is such a silly message. It's funny how certain things come through in cards, the symbolism and how clear it is. So they haven't wanted commitment in the past. They haven't wanted to lose their freedom or be bound by commitment. But the advice is to take a look at the protection in that, to understand that that is actually very wise. You just might not have thought of it through the right interpretation before. It protected you until these moments. It's like a time capsule, divine masculine, so that you could understand the inner workings of who you are, what divine guidance is, what divine plan is, what divine purpose is, so you could deepen and mature as a person. And so it wasn't that you were afraid of commitment or didn't deserve commitment or weren't cut out for it or were the odd one out, just not being able to figure out if it was legit. It was because it was protecting you so that you could only come into that, through that gate, when you were ready, when you had reached a certain maturity. So divine masculines, the guidance is keep growing, keep healing, keep looking at all of this stuff, and don't tell yourself you failed. Allow this to encourage you that you have truly been committed to the self-discovery path, even when you have told yourself that you have disappointed people, not been successful in commitment, feared commitment, criticized that you had intimacy issues. It's because you had all of this wounding and this head and heart war, or your heart was at war between the things that you thought you were supposed to do and the things your heart was telling you. And commitment is incredibly tied to that. and the previous falsehood that you weren't cut out for commitment. You are one of the most committed beings on the planet. As a divine masculine, you have the sun's fire. The sun never ceases to shine. You have that fire in you, divine masculine. And it's not that you have failed, it's that there has not been true mastery or compatibility or clarity on what is worthy to commit to outside of yourself. You haven't had a reason to truly do that until now, these energetic markers of development that you're reaching. Mastery. Where are the connections going? Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Hermit in the reverse. So this is another tricky energy to read, because the Hermit in reverse is coming out of the Hermitage. The Queen of Wands in the reverse, that's just telling me, divine feminine, that you're not fully engaged in the dynamic with the masculine because of this hermit mode. So there is a motion out of hermit mode and towards the divine feminine, but it's in this sort of no man's land right now. So there's like foreshadowing that there's a progression towards the feminine in a certain way here. I'm going to get an energetic card to understand more about where things are going, and then I'm going to pull some cards for the divine feminines. What can we see? Hydrogen atom, consciousness, beginning, and faith. So yeah, there is a poise that is bringing everything back down to this 0 point, the Fool, the leap of faith, the new, beginner's eyes. Okay, let's have a quick few cards here for the divine feminines who have watched this. What can we see? What are the divine feminines meant to focus on at this time? Intuition. Okay, so we had the Queen of Cups. Where did it go? Queen of Cups in the reverse for the divine masculines. I'm trying to remember which stage of that we were at. There she is. Yeah, when they were trying to stop their intuition from leading them astray, but it was really the voice of reason that was the naysaying ego voice. So divine feminines, we've got this kind of hat tip, head nod to the masculine's intuition there. Don't believe everything you think right now. I'm going to get a clarifier. So divine feminines, you are being asked to also drop the storylines, the previous storylines, preconceived notions. You're being asked to also take note from the divine masculines, calming the overactive imagination, and give yourself a rest right now. Yeah, you can't make it up. Literally give yourself a rest right now. Let go. There's that grieving process that we saw, the Five of Cups for the feminines in the first part of the reading. Look, believe it. When pigs fly, the love is here, commitment is near. Oh, those little silly rhymes, they always get me. I'm a sucker for those and glow-in-the-dark stuff, and yeah. Anyways, look at that. Divine feminines, drop the overactive imagination and give it a rest. Let things go. Love is here. Commitment is near. Even if you think it would only happen when pigs fly. Ta-da! Okay, many blessings. Much love, everyone. Bye for now.